George, welcome. Your deep dive on defence spend couldn't have come at a better time, really. And post Trump's victory, the subject of EU fiscal union is really back on the cards, really in an effort to fund critical investment in the region, such as defence. So, how much does Europe need to invest on defence, and how can they achieve this given the debt ceilings?
Yeah, so we think they need to double their investment spending, especially the core European countries, right? Germany, UK, France, Italy, Spain. And so we think that's somewhere above the additional investment, somewhere above 300 billion for a total spend per year of above 700 billion if they want real capabilities. It'll put a lot of pressure on European budgets. Dare I say, probably break. I think that first, some countries are in better positions than others, right? Germany and Poland have much better fiscal positions. Poland's I think, core to this as well, right there on the front lines there in Eastern Europe. And so those two countries, though, their fiscal positions are adequate to absorb this additional cost. But yeah, a lot of European countries aren't, right? I think UK, France, Spain, Italy, definitely pushing up against European limits for debt and deficits. They'll have to find ways to offset. One of the things our economists explored in this piece was building some of this capability, building some of these military, platforms in the EU. And so I think the more they do in the EU, the more of a multiplier effect they'll get on their economies, right? More growth, more tax income. So that helps offset some of these heavy costs. One of the big challenges, though, is the EU really hasn't invested in the defense industry, I think, since the end of the Cold War, right? And so we see a lot of real big needs where the products they offer aren't even that capable, or the factories just aren't built to bring them the quantity they need in time. And so that will be a big challenge to trying to incorporate much of this spend inside Europe and offset some of this increase in deficits and debt.
Now, there's a little bit of a quantity versus quality dichotomy at play here. And, over time, Europe will probably be able to build more weapons, but there is a question of capability. So what are the areas where there's perhaps the greatest need?
Yeah, so what we've seen in our analysis is that one of the areas of greatest need, but European capability, would be armor and artillery kind of things, tanks and artillery pieces. So again, I think Europe already has the capability to build some good product here. They just have to expand some of their factories and such. There's other areas like transport aircraft, aerial tankers, that they've got a great contractor like Airbus in the region, but they're not building in volume, so to bring down price, they're gonna have to probably improve volume in some of those. And there's other areas like stealth fighters, where Europe hasn't invested in years, and so they'll probably end up having to buy the F-35. They're probably a decade away from being able to build a stealth fighter. But for some fourth generation non-stealth capability, they can go in and buy the Eurofighter or buy Rafales. And they'll perform well in an environment where they've already knocked out things like surface to air assets and things like that.
Great. And then finally, really for our listenership, what sort of political milestones or catalysts should everybody be keeping an eye on as to see this story unfold?
Yeah, so we've already seen actually some of the backlogs building at the European defense contractors. Some of them are getting up to records now. The European, those companies probably won't invest in productive capacity without money from European governments to do it. So those backlogs should continue to build, we think. And then we'll watch the budget process, right? So as we get into next year, we'll watch the, Germany, Poland, France, UK, Spain, Italy budget process and look to see higher money, put to defense spending in those areas.
George, thanks very much for your time. Really insightful, great piece of research. Really looking forward to it. Thank you.